happy Friday. Happy Good Friday, I believe. Thank you so much for joining me to do some yoga today, or tomorrow or the next day if you're watching this afterwards. We're going to be doing a slowish flow today, some vinyasas, some warriors, but at a kind of meditative pace. We're going to be facing the long edge of the mat for probably at least 60% of the class. So if you want to reorient your device that you are watching me on and your mat, even if you're facing the long edge, you can just turn. We're going to be doing some pretty standard stuff, so you don't have to be looking at me the whole time. But I'm going to start here facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to stay here for a considerable portion of time, so you may want to join me in beginning facing the long edge of your mat. Come to a comfortable seat. If sitting on your heels feels good, great, you can sit there. You could sit cross-legged, you could sit with your legs out in front of you, whatever feels nice and easy. Your Sukhasana, your easy seat. Bring your hands palm down somewhere. Relax your shoulders. Maybe close your eyes or soften your gaze towards the floor. Take a deep, full breath. And then blink your eyes open as you inhale. Start to bring the center of your chest, your heart forward, shrug your shoulders a little bit back. You're finding a bit of a cow-shaped pose here. You can even look up if that feels nice. And then as you exhale, pull your belly button back around, your shoulders forward. Bring your chin towards your chest, cat-shaped pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And work at your own pace here. There's no reason to go at the pace of my breath. Two more sets, 2 more rounds here. And after this next round, you'll find your way to a neutral spine. If you want to switch up your seat for the next minute or two, feel free to do so. Here, relax your shoulders, take your hands behind your back, and behind your back you could interlace your fingers, you could grab a wrist, you can hold on to the elbow creases back there. It doesn't really matter as long as you start to feel some openness at the fronts of your shoulders. And then just let your hands laced up, held, or elbow creases held, soften towards the floor. Sit up straight and tall and imagine that you are zipping up your hoodie. So from your core all the way up through your rib cage is knitting together. You're not flaring open. It's not a back bend. You're knitting together. You're sitting straight and tall. You should feel space in your lower back. And then if you can maintain that space, you can start to lift your hands or your clasped elbows away from you, back behind you, getting some extra stretch at the fronts of the shoulders. And some people can go quite high. Some people it's, a quarter of an inch, if that. So go to the place that just feels stretchy in your shoulders. Keep zipping up your hoodie. Keep knitting your rib cage in. Inhale here, and then go ahead and release. Bring your arms forward, bring your hands onto the heads of your shoulders and just roll some big chicken wings backwards. And we're going to do that again. If you laced your fingers, try and lace them the other way. If you held a wrist, maybe hold the opposite wrist. Elbow creases, a little bit the same. I always have a hard time even figuring out if that's different. When you have that set up, relax, knit up, zip up your hoodie. When you're straight and tall, if you'd like to start lifting your hands away from your back, your elbows away from your back, go ahead. And just spend a few breaths here. See if you can maintain that tall posture, that knitting together of your rib cage, that zipping up of your hoodie with the extra stretch at the front of your chest and in your shoulders. And then inhale here. As you exhale, go ahead and release. Again, you're going to bring your hands onto the heads of your shoulders. And this time maybe you sort of draw some big chicken wing circles forward. And then go ahead and just shake out your wrists. Give them a little flop around. And then you might just lean forward. You can place your hands down. You might tap the tops of your feet if you're sitting cross-legged. You don't want to move a little bit more. Get them a little bit warm. I'm tending my fingertips because my floor is cold, not for any other reason. You can have the palms of your hands down. And then tuck your toes under here. Maybe sit back onto your heels a little bit. Just stretching the arches of the feet. You might have to stay quite forward, or you might come up and you might even sit on your heels for a second. And as you're ready, you're just going to make your way all the way to standing in the same spot that you were sitting, so facing towards the long edge of your mat. Feet a comfortable distance apart. I always feel like after I sit on my ankles, they're a little compressed. I just like to roll them out a couple of times on each side. You can join me in that. And then setting the feet a comfortable distance apart, spreading your toes nice and wide. See some color of the mat between your toes. Relax your shoulders again. Bring the crown of your head towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, bring your arms up over your head. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Bend your knees, coming into your Utkatasana. You can keep your hands at the heart, or you can bring your hands onto your thighs. As you inhale, draw the center of your chest forward. Draw your shoulders back. Find your cow pose. As you exhale, round forward. Find your cat pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. You can keep the hands where they are, or you can add some arms, inhaling to open, and exhaling to close. And just do a few more sets like this. The depth and the bend of your knees is totally up to you. Can change as you come between the open and the closed in the cow and the cat. Maybe one more set. This time as you inhale, come all the way up to standing, reach your arms over your head. And as you exhale, connect the palms of your hands and fold forward, coming towards the floor. Fingertips come down to the mat or to a block, or rest somewhere on your legs. Maybe you move a little bit from side to side. If you like, you can interlace again the hands to the elbow creases and sway a little more. When you're ready, inhale, pick up a halfway lift, maybe sliding your hands a little higher on the legs than you might usually. Exhale to soften. As you inhale, you're going to roll yourself one vertebrae at a time up to the sky. You can walk your hands on the thighs to support the low back. Keep the weight in the heels of the feet as you shrug your shoulders back. And then as you inhale, draw your arms overhead. As you exhale, bend your knees, bring your hands in front of your heart. Find your squat and just take a moment to examine how this squat feels in your body. Do your knees feel pretty good? Do your feet feel good? For me, I feel like my feet are just too close together. I want a little bit of a wider squat today. We're going to lift and lower. So see if you can find a squat that feels stable in this low position, where you can relax your shoulders. And then on an inhale, you're going to lift up, sweep your arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come to the heart and you bend your knees. And continue to adjust if you need to. You can always turn the toes a little out here if that's more comfortable. You can have a really wide stance, so your stance is more like a horse if you need to. And this isn't how many you can do. This is how can you do this at the pace of your breath. Your exhale brings you down to the squat, and your inhale brings you up to the sky. The whole time you're keeping your belly a little bit engaged. Range of motion is what feels good. Maybe it's really low. It's just a few inches today. Maybe it changes each time. one more. As you inhale, you're going to come all the way up, and this time as you exhale, connect the palms of your hands together and fold all the way forward for Uttanasana, forearms to thighs, hands to shins, fingertips all the way to the floor. And just angle here for a few breaths. Again, spread your toes wide. Feel each of your toes connecting to the floor. Press the heels of your feet down. Keep your knees a little bit soft. And then as you inhale, press your fingertips to the floor or your hands on blocks and find about a halfway lift. And it doesn't matter if your knees are really deeply bent here or if your legs like to be a little straighter. Just want a little bit of extension of the crown of your head forward. And then as you exhale, fold again. Fingertips are resting down. Heel toe your feet out wide. Warrior Two-esque wide. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Feel free to angle your feet in the way that feels good to you. And you could be quite elevated here in this fold. Or you could go a little deeper if your hamstrings feel ready, looking back towards the mat behind you. Keep the knees again a wee bit soft. Press the fingertips to the floor, lift up again, about halfway. And then you're going to plant your right hand down underneath your nose. You can plant this on a prop, or you can go all the way to the floor, and you're going to twist to your left. You could bring your left hand to your hip. You could bring your left arm up into the sky if you want. Shrug your shoulders back. It's completely fine if your right hip dips down lower than your left hip. You don't have to keep your sacrum flat for this one. Shrug your shoulders back. Inhale here, and then exhale to come towards the floor. Bring your left hand underneath your nose, and you're twisting to your right. Now your left hip might dip a little lower. You might feel an extra bit in your left inner thigh. Right arm could come up if that feels nice. Shoulders go back. Inhale here, and as you exhale, fold towards the floor. Press your fingertips down, lift up about halfway. Soften your knees a little bit. Make sure that your feet are strong and stable. We're going to come all the way up to standing. Walk the hands on the thighs, hands to the lower back. Inhale, come all the way up. As you exhale, you're going to turn your right foot to the short edge of your mat. It doesn't matter which direction it is. It's just the short edge. And then bend your right knee. Coming into Warrior Two. Adjust the angle of your back foot so that it feels right to you, whether you like the long edge of the foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, or you like that slight inset, left toes facing towards the right front corner a little more. Open your arms out to the sides. Turn your gaze forward, and then squeeze the heel of your front foot towards the arch of your back foot. It's like you're trying to draw your feet isometrically towards the middle of the mat so you feel your inner thighs. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, turn your right palm to face the ceiling. As you exhale, you're going to fold back towards your left hand to left thigh, right arm towards the ceiling, or even a little more over your head, reversing your warrior. Looking up might feel nice. Looking straight ahead or looking down can feel quite lovely in the neck as well. See what feels nice to you today. Enjoy that deep side stretch on the right. As you inhale, you're going to come back to the center line. As you do that, straighten your right leg so you're in your triangle posture. Bring your hips a little to the back of the mat towards the left side. Reach towards the right foot and fold. Right hand to the thigh, to the calf. You could use a prop here inside or outside. Or you can come all the way down towards the foot. Reach your left fingertips up. Again, the gaze point is your choice. Look where it feels good in your neck. Shrug your shoulders back towards the left hip and squeeze the heel of the front foot back, the arch of the back foot forward. Legs are drawing together, inner thighs are working. With your next inhale, you're going to come all the way back up. Bend your right knee again. You're back in that Warrior Two. Look out over your fingertips. Squeeze your feet inwards and just feel the work of this simple posture. Notice just what it takes to hold your arms out to the sides. When you're ready, you're going to inhale and straighten your right leg. Bring your arms up overhead. Turn your right toes to face towards the long edge of the mat. You're going to bring your left hand again to your left thigh. Lean over to your left, right arm up over your head. Star. Inhale back to the center line, arms up. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the center line, and then as you exhale, you're going to fold all the way back forward. I'm drawing my hands to the heart. You can always walk the hands down the legs. Inhale, find your halfway lift. As you exhale, walk to the right side of your mat, turning your right foot to face the short edge of the mat, and then your left foot to face the short edge of the mat. Plant your hands firmly down and step back, downward facing dog, or you can always drop your knees to your table. Take a few moments here, pedal your feet. Circle your hips, perhaps, if you're in table, or you can always add another cow and another cat if you choose table as your option here. And take another deep breath in your down dog or your table pose. And then as you inhale, come forward to your plank, walking your hands out if you're in your table, shoulders over the wrists. Lower your knees to the floor for this first one. Untuck your toes. Tuck your elbows in and as slow as you can. See if you can take the full length of your exhale to lower to the mat. Shrug your shoulders back, lift the center of your chest. Find your cobra pose, squeeze your shoulder blades together. If you're ready, you can of course come a little bit higher. Exhale to release. Tuck your toes under. Come back to table or back to downward facing dog. Take a deep full breath there. Soften your knees a little bit if you're in that dog position. And then lift your right foot up into the sky as you inhale. As you exhale, step your right foot forward towards the short edge of your mat. Bring your left knee to the floor. If you need a cushion, you can fold your mat over, grab a blanket. This is really the only thing we're doing on our knee today. You can untuck the toe. The left hand plants down, block or floor, and you're going to twist to your right. Your right hand can come onto your thigh, to your hip, or your right arm can go up to the sky. Shrug your shoulders back. Imagine that you are trying to rotate up towards the ceiling. So maybe this is a point where you want to look up. Inhale here. As you exhale, fold back towards the floor. Bring your hands to the inside of your right foot. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and walk back to the long edge of your mat, your wide-legged forward fold. Exhale to maybe go a little bit deeper. Take a breath or two here, hanging out. And then you're going to press your fingertips into the floor, lift up halfway. Keep the knees a little bit soft. So when you come up, you're lifting your lower belly, your knees are soft, you're protecting your lower back. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Turn your left toes to face towards the short edge of your mat. So you should be going the other direction than we just went. You can adjust your right foot straight or slightly angled. See what feels nice to your hips and your knees as you bend your left knee coming to your warrior two. Open your arms out. Reach through your fingertips. Squeeze the inner thighs. Squeeze the heel and the arch of the foot towards one another. You want to feel like even as you are reaching your fingertips outwards, the rest of you is drawing inwards. So like we did at the beginning of class, your rib cage is knitting inwards. You're zipping up that hoodie. And it's kind of like, you got it out of the dryer. It's a little tight. And you have to suck everything in to zip it up. Same thing with the thighs. You're squeezing them inwards towards the midline. And then the fingertips reach outwards. Inhale here. Exhale, you're going to fold to the back of the room. The left hand turns up and you look maybe towards the ceiling, maybe towards the floor, or some point in between. Enjoy that lovely stretch on the left side of the torso. Relax your jaw. On an inhale, you come all the way back up, arms parallel to the floor. You straighten your left leg. Let your hips bump a little to the right. Reach your left fingertips forward and fold to your triangle. Trikonasana, hand to thigh, calf. Maybe a prop where you reach towards the floor. Your your left knee can be quite soft, your front knee. It doesn't have to be straight unless straight feels sustainable. You're moving in that direction. Find your gaze point. On an inhale, you're going to come all the way back up. Hug the feet towards the midline as you do so to give yourself some integrity. Bend the left knee. Just coming back to that warrior two. The gaze comes over the left fingertips. And you just feel this pose. You feel your arms. Maybe they're starting to get a little tired, a little warm. Feel your thighs. Feel your toes. Are they death gripping? Do you need to give them a little wiggle? Mine were. As you inhale, straighten your left leg. Bring your arms overhead. And as you exhale, I just turned my left foot back to face the long edge of the mat. You can do that as well. And then fold over to your right hand to the right thigh, left arm overhead. Inhale to the center. And exhale, star side bend to the left. Inhale to the center line. Press the palms of the hands together and exhale, go all the way down towards the floor. Press the fingertips down, maybe find a halfway lift. You can use that as a position to adjust the angle of your feet. And then find that forward fold for a deep, full breath. Press your fingertips to the floor on your inhale, lift up halfway, and then you walk towards the left. You turn your left foot to face the short edge of your mat. You turn your right foot to face the short edge of the mat. Plant your hands down, step back. You can go back to downward facing dog or back to table, your choice. You have a few breaths to play here. You could pedal your feet in downward facing dog. You could join me in cow-catting in table pose. You can mix this up. It doesn't have to be the same as the first time. This is pretty symmetrical, so you can do a different thing each time we come into our table or downward facing dog. One more deep breath here. Then you're going to come forward to your plank. If you're with me in the low position, you might walk your hands forward. Inhale, slide the shoulders over the wrists. You could keep the knees down or you can tuck the toes and lift the knees up. And then exhale, lower to the floor. Inhale, pick up cobra, or if you're ready, you can pick up upward facing dog. You can always do sphinx elbows to the floor if that's better. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes under, make your way back. Table or downward facing dog. Float your left foot behind you as you inhale. And as you exhale, step your left foot up between your hands. If it's not already there, the right knee comes to the floor. Right hand plants down. You can use any kind of prop under there. Twist to your left. Hand to thigh. Hand to hip. Arm to the sky. Shrug your shoulders back. And again, it's like you're rotating up. You're taking your heart, and it starts out as kind of facing the floor, and you're turning it to face the left, and then you're kind of imagining that it can reach up, reach towards the sunshine. Inhale. And then as you exhale, fold down. Hands come to the inside of that left foot. Tuck the back toe. Lift the back knee. Walk back to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, you're just going to soften your knees a little bit. Heel toe your feet back to maybe a hip-ish distance apart. And fold here this time. Take a few deep breaths. Spread your toes. And then with soft knees, Weight a little bit more in the heels of the feet. Inhale, one smooth breath. Roll yourself all the way up. Arms can come out and up to the sides if that feels good. Exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep, full breath. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Exhale, bend your knees, hands in front of the heart. We're coming back to our squat. So take a moment, adjust the distance, the angle of your feet, whatever you need to do. We're going to, again, do some dynamic squatting. So find a spot that feels comfortable. When you're ready, an inhale brings you to the sky. And as you exhale, you find your squat. You work at your own pace. Again, it's not about how many. It's about how well can you match them to your breath. Three more. Come as you finish off this last one all the way back up to standing as you inhale. As you exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, hands to a prop, half lift. As you exhale, heel toe your feet out wide. You're coming back to that wide leg, forward fold. Exhale, find your hamstrings. Deep breath here. As you inhale, you lift up halfway. You're coming all the way back up to standing. Know that if coming up to standing stresses your back in this position, always come up to standing with your feet close together and then bring your feet wide once you stand up. Roll your shoulders back. Turn your right foot to face towards the short edge of your mat. Adjust your back foot for comfort. Bend your right knee. Arms come out to the sides. Gaze comes forward. Inhale, the right palm turns to the sky. Exhale, fold backwards, reverse your warrior. Enjoy that lovely deep side stretch. Even here, heel of the front foot is drawing towards the midline. Arch of the back foot is drawing towards the midline. You're not collapsing in the legs. Now, stay where you are, but see if you can straighten your right leg a little bit. You're in reversed triangle pose. Inhale here. And then press down into your feet. Exhale, you're gonna come all the way through the center line. Let your hips come back and fold directly to triangle, hand to thigh, calf. Block or reaching towards the floor or your ankle. Remember, your knee might be considerably more bent. That's completely fine. You want to feel maybe some stretch at the back of the thigh, but that should not be all that you are able to pay attention to. Find a gaze point. See if we can make this one smooth transition. You're going to soften your right knee a little bit. Press down into your right heel. As you inhale, you're going to come up. At the same time, see if you can bend your right knee. As you exhale, fold back to your reverse warrior. Inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, fold the back of your right arm to your right thigh, extended side angle. Left arm could reach up or over the head. If you feel ready, you can always go a little deeper, reaching the right hand down the inside of the right foot, maybe a prop. Maybe you can come all the way to the floor. See if you can imagine guiding your left hip a little bit back towards the back of the mat. You may have to change the angle of your foot to make that feel good. One more breath here. You're gonna press down into your right heel and lift all the way back up. Straighten your right leg. A little bit different this time. You're gonna turn your right toes to face towards the long edge of the mat. And then you're gonna bring your hands in front of your heart. Bend your right knee, start to straighten your left leg. I have to turn my left toes out for comfort here. I like to flip them up. Yours might like to face the long edge. Skandasana, hands to the thigh. Fingertips could come to the floor. If you like a little Russian folk dance, you can turn your feet out and little crackly ankles, bring your hips down towards the floor. It doesn't matter if the heel here is lifted on the right side or if the heel touches the floor. See what feels good to your foot. My hips say, oh yeah, okay, we can do that today. Maybe your hands can even come in front of your heart. That works in the low or the high position. Take a few deep breaths here. Now you're already close to the right side of the mat, so all you're going to do is keep turning to the right towards the short edge of the mat. Turn all the way around. Right foot faces the short edge, left foot faces the short edge. Plant your hands down and step back. Table or downward facing dog. And again, you have a bit of time to play here. You could play in your dog, your table, or you can take a child's pose if you want, or lie flat on your belly. See what feels best for your body for the next few breaths. And then we'll all meet in table or downward facing dog. If you're in table, you want the hands to be a little forward, so you can shrug the shoulders as you inhale over the wrists. Low plank or high plank, exhale to the floor. Inhale, tuck your pelvis down, lift the center of your chest, find your cobra or your sphinx or your upward facing dog. Exhale to release, hands under the shoulders, back to table or back to downward facing dog. Inhale, float your right foot to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot all the way to the long edge of the mat. Bring your left knee to the floor, coming back to our twisted position. You can take exactly the same twist that we took before, left hand down, twisting to the right. You go a little bit further, walking your hands up onto your thigh, shrug your shoulders back. Hands come to the heart as you inhale. As you exhale, you bring the back of the left arm to the right thigh, pressing the palms of your hands together here. And you're thinking about getting your hands in front of your heart as you do this. So as you press the palms of the hands together, I hope you can see them, you're drawing the hands a little bit downwards. There's some dynamic action between the palms of the hands and some dynamic action between the back of the arm and the thigh. As you inhale, unwind, come back to the center line. Hands will come to the inside of the front foot. Tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee, walk to the long edge of the mat. Find your forward fold. Relax for a deep, full breath. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale, soften the knees a little bit. Engage your core and come all the way up to standing as you inhale. Left foot turns to face towards the short edge of the mat. The left knee bends and you set up your warrior two. Arms come out to the sides. Palms face the floor. See if you can find a balance between keeping your arms reaching again outwards, that extension, the broadening of your collarbones and your shoulders, but without flaring out your rib cage, coming into a back bend. Again, you're wearing that hoodie, everything's knitting up in here. It's like all of your muscles have suddenly worked out a little bit and become more firm without you even having to do crunches or sit-ups. Just this simple integrity of holding your core in is working it. As you inhale, you're going to turn your left palm to face the ceiling, and you're going to lean all the way back into your reverse warrior, right hand to right thigh. Soften your jaw. Let this be about really enjoying the stretch here. Front knee is working to stay over the front ankle. We'll straighten the leg in a moment, but for now we want to keep it bent. Squeezing the feet into the center line of the mat, finding that inner thigh strength. On an inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your left leg. See if you can keep leaning back. If you need to come a little forward, do. And then on one smooth breath, you come all the way up. The hips lean a little back and you windmill into your triangle pose. Knee bendiness up to you. You're moving towards that straight position. Maybe you're there today. Maybe you're not. Wherever you are, maybe you think of taking this back hip just a little bit back. And all that's doing is just tucking your left hip, your front hip, a little underneath so you can elongate more in your torso. It's not that there's a certain position that your hip needs to be in. It's just by opening this hip here, this is your right hip on this side, your left hip can relax a little bit and create more space. Now we're going to see if maybe one smooth movement can bring us up. So you're going to inhale and start to bend your left knee. Sweep your arms back up and then lean to the back of the mat as you exhale, reverse your warrior. And this isn't a hold, you're just going to come forward as you inhale. As you exhale, fold the back of your left arm to your right thigh. Back of your left arm to your left thigh. Right arm can reach up overhead, left to left. Squeeze the feet together. This might feel perfect for today, or you might need to go a little further, reaching downwards, reaching maybe even to a floor or a block. Find your gaze point. I like to look down, especially when I have my hand close to the floor, so that I can see that my front knee is over my front ankle. I can see that my knee is tracking, it's not moving in or out. Kind of a nice visual here. And it also just feels really nice for the neck. Let's take another deep, full breath here. Squeeze the feet into the midline. And inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, straighten that left leg, toes turn to the long edge of the mat. Hands come to the heart. You're going to bend your left knee. You can start to angle your feet. I like to go outwards. Totally your preference. As you bend your left knee, you might notice that your feet like to aim in different directions or the same direction. You could stay here in your Skandasana. You could go to the floor. You could drop back. If you drop back, I highly recommend turning your right toes up to the sky. Heel flat or heel lifted, totally irrelevant. Wherever you are, net your rib cage in, lift the center of your chest a little bit. Few breaths here. Enjoy the heat in your thigh for one more breath. And then you're nice and close to the left side. All you're going to do is come all the way there, walking all the way around, planting the hands down. Left foot faces the short edge of the mat, right foot faces it, and you step back. Table or downward dog. Feel free to play in either of those positions or take a little rest. This is just an opportunity to do exactly what feels good. To wiggle out the things that feel tired. To activate the things that need a little more fire. Maybe holding your plank for the next couple of breaths if you feel fiery today. And then we're all going to meet in our plank position. So inhale forward to your plank, knees up or down, your choice. Exhale to the floor. You could pick up cobra or sphinx, or untuck your toes and pick up your upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog or table pose. Left foot comes to the sky as you inhale. Left foot steps forward as you exhale. Right knee comes to the floor. Again, you can take the low twist. Right hand to the mat or to a block. Twist to the left. Or you can take the twist with a little more work in the shoulders. Hands up to the thigh. Palms together. Back of the right arm to the left thigh. Press the palms together. Shrug the shoulders back. And it's the same idea. You're wanting to rotate your heart. It starts out facing the floor. You want to rotate it over to the left and as far up towards the sky as you can. Towards the sunlight. Whew. Maybe I went a little too far. Got a little wobbly. Enjoy the twistiness. Inhale. And then as you exhale, fold to the inside of the mat. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee, and walk back to the long edge. Wide-legged forward fold one last time. Exhale to release. Now, a couple of variations you could try here. You could take your hands, again behind your back. Maybe interlace your fingers or grab a wrist and lift up to the sky. You could walk your fingertips a little out in front of you. Keep your hips between your heels, so no movement in the hips, but as you walk the hands forward, you might experience a nice little stretch in the shoulders here. Or you could simply stay with the hands underneath you, giving you some support. ready, release your fingertips to the underneath of your nose. Lift up halfway. Heel toe your feet in that comfortable-ish distance apart. Find your forward fold as you exhale. And on an inhale, roll yourself one smooth breath all the way up to the sky. Exhale. Bring your hands in front of your heart. We're going to play with a little bit of tippy toe balance today. So just make sure that you feel strong and stable. If you want to stand close to a wall for your tippy toe balance, I'd recommend just with your back close to the wall so that your butt is maybe an inch or two away, so that if you fall, you can just fall straight back without compromising your side to side balance. And then we may try and take this down to the floor. So if you're at a wall, you'll have to walk back to your mat in a moment. I like to have a little pie wedge, so my toes a little bit closer together than my heels. And it doesn't matter if your pie wedge is really slim, you're, feeling very austere today, or if you have, a really big piece of pie. This is a hungry day. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Relax your shoulders. Zip up your hoodie. On an inhale, see if you can lift your heels and come up onto your tippy toes. And at first it seems really easy. Once you get up there, you start to feel some nice shakiness, some wobbliness. Hold for another breath or so. Inhale in your balance, and then as you exhale, see if you can gracefully-ish, maybe, lower your heels to the floor. And as soon as your heels are all the way down, inhale, see if you can lift back up. And you're just going to repeat that a few times. And your goal is not, again, how many you can do. It's how smooth and matching to the breath can you make it. I always find it really hard to match the breath on the exhale. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. Do just as many as you need to do for your feet to feel tired or for you to feel super wobbles. I'm almost there. Maybe a couple more if you're not quite there yet. This is shockingly difficult. Now, maybe you want to try this on your tippy toes. Maybe you want to try this on the flat of your feet. But see if this time as you exhale, you can bend your knees and start to come down towards a squat. If you need to open your knees wide, more of a Malasana squat, go right ahead. If it feels good, you can sit down onto the heels, start to lift the center of your chest again, zip up, knit the rib cage. If you feel totally stable here, you can lift your arms up over your head. Inhale. And as you exhale, make your way to seated, any way that works for you. Stretch your legs out in front of you, and then just flex and point your toes a few times. Roll your ankles one way, the other way. And then what you're going to do is sit, again, right in the middle of your mat, facing the long edge, and go wide with the legs. Anything wide, or wider rather, than about the distance of the short edge of your mat, so you might be a little closer. You can go 90 degrees if that's something that's a possibility for your body. Make sure that you can sit up straight and tall. It is perfectly fine to roll up your mat or a towel or a blanket and put underneath your knees so you have support here, or to sit onto a blanket. That will help when you fold forward. This is your inhale. Fingertips ground down. Exhale, fold forward. Maybe you go a few inches. Maybe you can bring yourself a little closer to the floor. See how this feels. If this is just not working for your body, your inner thighs, your hamstrings are quite tight, feel free to take the soles of your feet together and do your Baddha Konasana here instead. You'll still get some stretch in your inner thighs, but a little easier for the hamstrings. We'll spend a few breaths in whichever variation works for you. Maybe bring your chin a little bit in towards your throat. And what that means is that your head isn't collapsing, it's not hanging forward. There's still some integrity, but you're bringing your chin down and inwards. You want to keep the hollow of your throat a little bit kind of active. And it's just an elongation at the back of your neck, so there's space in those vertebrae there. you are ready, all you're going to do is lift up just a little bit and walk your fingertips over to your right. If you have your feet wide, you want to kind of think about staying inside. If you have the soles of your feet in, you can go and kind of frame your right knee here, if that feels good. And just spend a breath or two here. Feel that lovely side stretch. If you have the legs wide, you could go one step further and lift your left arm up into the sky for the side bend. Honestly, I feel like that feels weird in the Baddha Konasana. You can try it if it works for you. Fantastic. When you're ready, you're going to lower the fingertips back down if you lifted them up and just walk yourself over to the other side. Open maybe the right arm up if you're in that extended variation. The legs are wide. Relax the shoulders. Looking up can feel good, but if it doesn't, experiment. Look sideways. I'm always partial to looking towards the floor. And again, that little kind of bringing of your chin towards your throat can feel really nice in the neck. Fold back towards the floor if you lift it up. Walk back to the center line from wherever you are. Take a deep breath here. And then walk your fingertips in. Go ahead and use your hands to gather your legs in. If you need to, soles of the feet come to the floor. Hands come behind you, lift your chest. Feet about hip distance apart. And you just wipe your legs from side to side, loosening things up. Maybe once more in each direction. Coming back to the center line, go ahead and turn to face a short edge of your mat, whichever one is more convenient, whichever one feels good to your body. Sit right in the center and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. When you arrive there, you're going to bring the soles of your feet in so your knees are pointing up to the sky. Feel free to adjust your hips so your low back feels nice. And then hug your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. You can catch behind the thigh here, interlacing your fingers. And what we want to do is press your thigh into your hands as you draw your hands into the back of your thigh. Kick the ceiling with your heel so your toes are coming back towards your nose. Just take a few breaths here. Think about drawing your femur into your hip socket. Go ahead and release. Cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee. And this might feel plenty. You can stay right here. Or you can draw your left knee in towards your chest, hugging behind the left leg somewhere if you want. A little movement if it feels good. And then releasing the sole of the left foot to the floor. Uncross the right knee. Hug the left knee into the chest. Extend that left leg straight up. Interlace the fingers behind the thigh. Thigh presses to the hands. Hands pull into the thigh. So there's a lot of activity. Kick your heel up towards the ceiling. Flex your toes. Spend a few breaths here. Think about thigh bone down towards the floor, into the hip socket. We did a lot of stuff kind of separating that joint. So now we're just drawing everything in towards the center again. Go ahead and release. Left ankle over the top of the right knee. You could stay right there. Or you could hug the right knee in towards your chest. Any little movements here that feel nice. Ready, Right foot comes back to the floor. Uncross. Left foot comes to the floor. Take the feet a little wider. Spread the arms out to the sides. And again, draw some windshield wipers with your legs a few times. Next time your knees are to the right, go ahead and let them stay. If this variation of the twist feels good, go ahead and relax here. Or make any adjustments that you need to. You're welcome to take your right ankle onto the top of your outer left knee area if that feels pleasant. Twist your knees over to the other side, releasing the right foot if you lifted it up and over. If that feels good, you can do again the left ankle on the top of the right knee and see if that's a nice option or not. As you're ready, draw the knees back to the center line. You might like to hug them one more time in towards your chest. Rocking here a little side to side. Maybe you like to come to a happy baby, soles of the feet towards the ceiling. If there is any other pose or shape that your body would like, you can feel more than free to add that in now. Or you might just simply extend your arms and your legs towards your Shavasana. Allowing your body to find a comfortable and easy place to rest. You are Shavasanaing today. Take a deep, full breath in. And an equally deep, full breath out. And then simply let your breath continue at its own natural pace. asana as long as you would like. If you're ready to move on with your day, take a deep breath in. Big deep sigh out. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Maybe turn your head a little from right to left. Eventually rolling all the way over to one side to rest for a few breaths. Before making your way to your most comfortable seat this morning. As you arrive in your seat, bring your hands in front of your heart. Press all 10 fingertips together. Press the heels of your hands together. Lift the crown of your head here, but again, bring your chin a little bit towards your throat so your gaze is lightly downwards. You can even have your eyes closed if you want. We'll finish with our deep breath together. In through nose, out through mouth. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice and your time with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. If you are hoping for some yoga this weekend, I will be doing a special and hopefully fun, as usual, Easter themed class on Sunday morning. Usual time 10 to 11 a.m. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much.